Hi, everyone. So, guys, we're at Atlant. Just 2 words about what we do. I mean, there are a lot of ICOs that you're going to see. VR, IoT, I don't know, social networks. A lot of sort of fancy words thrown at you. We're not so fancy. We're just real estate, but we're going to redefine real estate. So let me talk about this. Just very quickly, what is real estate? By the way, our ICO happens to be ending today. What is real estate? Real estate is the biggest asset in the world. It's $217 trillion. Compared to that, gold is 8 trillion. Equities is something like 67 trillion. Crypto is only 100 billion. Atlant basically does 2 things. One is it decentralizes real estate trading. So right now, real estate trading is basically, one person sells to another person in the country, maybe to 2 people, and usually the transaction takes substantial periods of time. What we want to do is we basically want to create almost like a NASDAQ for real estate, so that anyone can press a button, and just like you buy, a share of Apple, on the exchange, you can buy a piece of property. I'll go through this quickly because there's not much time. But basically what we are attempting to do is we're attempting to create an exchange. In fact, we actually already have a working exchange. This is kind of, basic idea of what it looks like. The idea is we take an asset, like let's say a shopping mall. We put a company around it, an LLC, and we tokenize this company. And then subsequently we take tokens of this company and list on our exchange. And if somebody, let's say, a person in China wants to buy, $10,000 worth of a shopping mall in Paris, all they have to do is click a button, and they now own tokens which represent the company which holds, this entire asset, and they hold a part of this. So very quickly, again, lots of ICOs, lots of white papers. We don't just have a white paper; we have working code. We have an exchange. We have also, running through this very quickly, we have also basically a P2P platform built. You can find it on your Android Google Play. So something similar to Airbnb, but completely centralized. And we have basically a wallet which is meant for property tokens traded on this exchange. So just very quickly about P2P rentals. Right now you have Airbnb, you have Booking, you have sort of, lots of services. What we do is something which is completely the same, but without the middleman. So in other words, for the user, the interface is the same. They don't have to use crypto, they can use fiat. They can use crypto to make it a little cheaper. Everything is user-friendly, but the idea is there is no middleman. So currently Airbnb takes out 30% from the combined renter and rentee. We're able to basically get rid, make this 3 to 5%. Just quickly, this presentation is quite long, but quickly go through the math. You can't see it here. This is sort of a paper by Goldman Sachs. They're saying that Airbnb itself should use decentralized systems, and that using decentralized, essentially, really P2P rentals growth will be twice-fold out to 2020. On the left, you see Airbnb's growth. It's already phenomenal, this. But it can go much faster. And so again, to take a step back, on our platform, the platform that we have sort of P2P rentals and also tokenized property. The token holders of the ICO that we're conducting actually benefit from both. This is sort of quickly how we work. So essentially we have, and by the way, this is already built out, so this is not vaporware, this is real. We basically have our data store, which is plugged into, it's immutable, it's hashed into the Ethereum network. Hang on 1 second. Essentially, I've left some flyers, and you can swing by. I'll explain sort of more specifically how the schematic works. But essentially, the idea is we're not reinventing the wheel, both in P2P rentals and in tokenized property. For instance, in tokenized property, the property is managed in the same way. Everything that, in P2P rentals, again, you rent your property in the same way. Nothing happens, nothing changes for a real person in terms of, they don't have to adjust to crypto, they don't have to write any code. They don't have to understand smart contracts. The system works in a simple way. So I have little time. I'll talk about sort of my team a little bit. So that's me. I basically spent about 15 years as a banker, trader, analyst, various hedge funds and investment banks. Neil did roughly the same. And Dennis is our CTO, who's built several exchanges similar to the exchange that's going to be put up in Gibraltar. This is Dennis's team. They're quite young guys, but they wrote most of our code. So basically, we have, again, fully functioning exchange, property wallet, etc. These are our advisors. Greg basically founded Knight Frank in Russia. Natalie runs currently a $2 billion portfolio of real estate. Oleg works for BLP, who are top-notch lawyers in the UK who did Shard, half of Canary Wharf, etc. And Julian, I guess same name as mine. He's basically a lawyer that's done a lot of ICOs in the United States. These two last guys are lawyers, so essentially we have legal opinions actually that we have a utility token both in US, UK, and European Union. And we have some representation in other places. So for instance, Joe, genuine rocket scientist who actually represents us in Hong Kong, mainly for sales reasons. And Bill is in London. And quite a few more other guys involved who I don't have time to mention. So quickly, do you have any questions?
Using the information supplied by the blockchain.
Airbnb actually bought the blockchain team 2 years ago. And it doesn't seem like they've done anything with them. So our thinking is, look, obviously they're not stupid. Obviously they're onto this, and if Goldman Sachs is writing papers about it and saying, look guys, your growth is going to basically double to 2020, you should do this, clearly they might do it, but I think we're smaller and nimble, and frankly we have, in terms of P2P, our software is only half built. In terms of tokenization, it's practically built. In terms of our timeline, out to March we'll build everything. So, we want to be first to market. Look, I'll tell you another thing. Everyone, this is an interesting fable. So people talk about, 10 years ago, people talked about, oh, Linux is going to replace all desktops. It's going to be, it's the best operating system, etc. And where is Linux now? Well, most people will say nowhere, but in reality, your iPhone has Linux, your Android has Linux, your toaster probably has Linux. Most people just don't know about it. And so, this is what you need blockchain to be. You basically need people not to think, oh, well, this is on a distributed network, this is, immutable, blah, blah, blah. They just want it to be easy to use. And that's what we have. That's what we're building. Just a little bit cheaper and, better.
You can ask one more question if it's real quick.
Real quick. Yeah, tokenized ownership and rentals, which is your focus?
So we found, a lot of people ask this question because they say, well, you're doing two disjoint things. Essentially, if you look at other real estate like things, so for instance, Julian, sort of a marketplace, they do both. We found in terms of technology, 70 to 80% of the technology actually overlaps. So all of this runs on nodes, and the technology in terms of kind of interoperability is practically the same. So we thought that it would make sense to have sort of basically a real estate marketplace where you can do both. And the benefit of the token holder would be from both.